Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this February 1st version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we're on the EOA network. And this morning, our guest is going to be Josie Bornstedt from Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and she'll be with us here in just a little bit. How are you?
Man, it's first Friday.
It's the first Friday. It feels like,
Cranking them
I don't
out.
know what it feels like.
We're already done with January.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it being almost 2024, and now we're done with January.
Yeah.
1/12 of the year gone.
Well, yeah, it is. And I was in El Salvador. We left the hotel at like 3 a.m. La Grande time yesterday morning and traveled 19 hours. So I'm still just dragging.
Yeah.
And this day is like packed. I have like, what in the world was I
Well,
thinking?
besides for a major flood in the back room, everything was fine. Well, we had a couple parties. Well, you're out on the business credit card while you're gone.
Oh, good. All right.
No, everything went fine.
Yeah.
It was good. The show on Tuesday was good. I think that's only the second time I've ever hosted. No, that's the third time I've hosted it.
Yeah.
On my own. I think I did it with Benny once, and then I had Amanda May as a guest one time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot easier when you have somebody else to
Yeah,
bounce
but
stuff on.
it's a lot easier if it's somebody you know.
Yeah.
Having a new person
yeah.
was kind of intimidating. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't even. That was the first time I ever met her in my life. Was right there.
Yeah. Well, and I still haven't. We've talked on the phone.
It was easier with like Benny or Amanda
Yeah.
because I already knew them, but we got through it. It was good. It wasn't bad.
Good.
No problems at all. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I can hold it down when you're.
And the weather's been pretty warm here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not too bad.
No.
Man, we got off the plane in El Salvador, and it was 80 degrees, 80% humidity.
Oh.
Yeah, it was that.
Those
It was
days where you
it
gotta
was
change your shirt
miserable at
like
first.
3
Thankfully,
times.
it cooled down pretty quickly. It cooled down. I mean, it wasn't quite that hot. It was in the 70s and stuff. But
Not horrible then.
well, it was too warm to wear regular pants, And
Oh, I
so
would have been wearing shorts the whole time.
yeah.
I mean, if you're in South America, you're in shorts.
Well, here's what's funny is there's not the guys mostly only wear pants. I mean, if you're on the beach.
You're a gringo, though. They know.
Yeah, I know.
You're a tourist.
Yeah, we could.
Like gringos should wear shorts.
I had the tourists look all over me.
Oh yeah, they know for sure. And there's no doubt.
No, but super interesting. In fact, next Thursday we're going to have a show about the trip that I went on, and we're going to have a couple of the guys. It was I call it a compassionate literacy Rotary trip because I went because of the local Rotary, and we scholarship some kids to help them get through their high school education, kids in rural areas, and so next Thursday we're going to have Joe Meyer from Valley Insurance. He'll be on the show, and then the two guys, both of them from the Chicago area, who started this thing 20 years ago. So it's super interesting. Yeah.
So we'll have a remote and an in studio.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that a little bit of a technical hurdle for us.
Cool.
But yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. Good trip.
Yeah.
So, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit here in La Grande, 411 First Street. Go check it out. They got a cool selection of everything that you need for whatever hobby it is you have. Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. LHS Girls Wrestling is in Vail tonight. They'll duel Nissa and then Vail back to back. And then this weekend they're in Oregon for the Stokes Landing Girls Wrestling Invitational. The boys have senior night tomorrow night, the wrestling boys. That'll kick off at 5:15 up at the high school gym, and they plan on wrestling Nissa and Ontario back to back. So get up there and check it out and support these seniors. They got a good chance at winning a state championship. EOU men's wrestling is in Sweet Home tomorrow night for that duel against Southern for the wagon wheel. It's the duel where I said we give up a home meet in order to kind of like promote EOU wrestling. It'll be in Sweet Home. It's considered a home meet for us. And the wagon wheel's on the line. That'll kick off at 5:15 tomorrow night. This Saturday, the EOU women's wrestling team is in Des Moines at the Grandview Open, which is another huge tournament for them, a big-time tournament for this women's wrestling team who's ranked in the top 25. EOU men's and women's basketball are on the road this weekend. They're in Walla Walla on Friday and then LC State on Saturday. The LHS boys basketball team lost to Nissa on Tuesday, 64-60, and then the girls also dropped a tough one to Nissa, 42-40. Both of them go to Pendleton tomorrow night with action kicking off at 6 o'clock versus the Buckaroos. EOU baseball hosts St. Martin's. This is added to the schedule just recently. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock down at Optimist. And then they turn around for a doubleheader against St. Martin's starting at 11 on Saturday. And that all right here in town, right at Optimist. So if the weather's nice and you want to go check out some baseball, go check out this EOU baseball team. They won 3 out of 4 in their opening weekend. They have as many wins in the first weekend as they had all of last year. I mean, it's crazy. EOU softball kicks off their season tomorrow against Shasta down in California. That'll be a scrimmage, but they're going to get that game in before they have games against Simpson. I sat down with head coach Nicole Christian to take a look at their upcoming season. Here's what she had to say. So you got all the players in a room. What are you telling them this year? What's our goal?
I want top 10. I want to be at the final site. My goal was to always be where my team finished when I played at 4th. I would love a Final 3 finish. I want a CCC to where we don't, a title tournament. We don't want to have to go on the road and go play at Southern or OIT anymore. Like our goal is to be like, okay, if May 1st, 2nd, when it's that CCC tournament, we want to host it in LeGrand. We want to sleep in our beds. We want to be that team. And and I think we're facing OIT right out the door.
Off the hop.
Right out the door.
Here,
yeah. On our field. Number one.
Hopefully
on our field. Number 1 team in the nation. And OIT's been very known for starting off hot. They've got hope, which we're excited to kind of scout that game and see how they face Allie, which is, I would say, very comparable pitcher to Kaylee. They had the same numbers. Dominant. She's already thrown a no-hitter.
That interview comes out at 5:30 today on EO Live Sports, so check it out. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, 411 First Street, just for the fun of it.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look outside, and it's pretty today. It was funny because I left my coat in the car in Portland. And, of course, it made no sense to take it to El Salvador. But, boy, I needed it when we got back. But I was thankful that there wasn't snow on the ground. It wasn't terribly ugly.
Easy drive home.
Yeah, it wasn't even raining. I mean, it was raining a little bit in Portland. So, yeah, let's take a look at the weather here. So up to 50, 40. I mean, it looks like it's going to be kind of like that same...
Some snow on Saturday.
Same thing for the rest of the week, yeah.
Not too horrible.
So, and it's been pretty dry here, right? Last few days, last week or so.
Yeah, and the baseball team's going to try to get these games in. I don't know, with turf, they might. You know. We'll see.
Yep.
And it just depends kind of on how much accumulation of wetness there is down there.
Yeah.
But, man, that baseball team, I can't believe they've already won as many games as they won all last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were 3-39 last year. Right now they're 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to have their head coach on the sports show next week to preview his season and a couple of the players, and we'll talk about what they have coming up
for
the
good
baseball team. Yeah.
Hopefully they've got things, they're getting things kind of turned around.
I think they kind of are. I think. Yeah. I mean, this is Kyle's second year as the. I mean, he started last year like 3 games into the season, so he's just handed a team.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least now he's had some time to get some of his own recruits and kind of establish a presence. So we'll see how it goes this year.
All right. Good. Good deal. All righty. Well, here in just a minute, we're going to have Josie Bornstedt from Fellowship of Christian Athletes here with us right after this. All right, we're back with Josie Bornstedt from Fellowship of Christian Athletes here locally. Nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
Doing really well. Nice to meet you guys too.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
excited to
met
be here.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just met BC.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, good. So tell us, you're from LeGrand?
From LeGrand, born and raised.
Yeah. Cool. And so, I mean, tell us kind of where you're in college, right? Kind of tell us where you are right now in your college career, and
Yeah, I'd love
and then
to.
how you got involved in Fellowship for Christian Athletes?
Fellowship of Christian
Oh,
Athletes.
Christian
Yeah,
Athletes.
yeah,
Thank you.
no
Fellowship
worries.
of Christian.
Yeah, so born and raised in LeGrand. Stayed here for college. Was not planning on going to Eastern Oregon University, but I'm really glad that I did. And I'm studying marketing. We'll be graduating this spring. And then I'm currently working towards a functional nutrition counseling certification too. So I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
And then with FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I'm going on 9 years being involved with FCA, and it was interesting. I believe it was either my 7th or 8th grade year in middle school, Clell Carson was like, hey, you need to go to the high school and plug into their FCA group. And so I did that. I believe it was Billy Carroll was leading it at that point. And so I went a few times, and it was early in the morning. And yeah, Clell even gave me some rides, you know. He's always wanting to support people and invest in students. So I really appreciated that. And I didn't go at all my freshman year in high school. But then they switched it to lunch, and it was just more convenient to go. So we went and just had opportunities to lead there. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to college. Didn't think that I would continue with FCA. Didn't know what that would look like. But I was encouraged by people like Clell and Matt Wolcott and others to start up an FCA at the college level. And so since Eastern didn't have one currently, I believe they had one in the past, maybe like 7 to 10 years ago. Yeah, so I decided to get with some friends, and we started it. And I believe the first meeting there was only 4 girls, and then now we have like anywhere from 35 to 60. It fluctuates, but it's been really neat seeing just different athletes and students come in, and we just get to have an opportunity to encounter the Lord and grow and share just this hope for this generation. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And so when do you guys meet, and how often again? I'm sorry, you meet, yeah. And do you meet early in the morning? Do you meet early? Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually, for the college group, we meet at 7 p.m. Wednesdays. And yeah, dinner's provided, and it's at Grand Reach. We're praying as a leadership team about moving it on campus. I think there's a lot more people that would be able to come, but currently we're meeting at the Grand Reach building in Island City.
Okay. Well, very cool.
Yeah.
So marketing, let's pivot back there for a minute. So then is Sherry Carpenter one of your,
Yeah.
and Sherry's a good friend of mine, and
Yeah, she's great.
a brilliant at what she does.
Absolutely. Yeah. She makes marketing fun. It's about serving the need and helping people, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that, just because like my heart personally is to help people. I love, you know, sharing services and stuff that work for people. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, she's just been a really big voice of encouragement in the marketing area and just in life in general too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And then what was the other part of your career that the counseling? I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This kind of came about just a few weeks ago. The program started last week, and it's functional nutrition counseling. And so just talking about like root cause and how to basically, like, there's a difference between regular nutrition and functional nutrition, in that regular nutrition talks about like the macros and like how food interacts with the body, which is important, but functional nutrition is more like root cause and how things interact like as a whole body, like the whole body system. And I'm just super passionate about that, you know. And there's an analogy about like a river and a stream, and you don't want to just target things downriver, you want to get upstream, because if you just target things downriver, the water's going to keep coming. And ultimately, like I want people to have, you know, the best health, so I'm excited to become more educated in that area and help people.
Very cool.
Let's explain more about like what FCA is. Like what's the purpose of it? Why do you meet?
Yeah, so FCA, our heart is to bring every athlete and coach into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and His church. And we do that just by, connecting as a college group, connecting with people on all backgrounds. Everyone's welcome. You don't even have to be an athlete. You don't have to know anything about Jesus to come. But we love just getting in the Word. We have amazing musicians. We sing worship songs to God. And I think it's really been interesting seeing different people come through and how people have grown in their faith. And there's some people that come with some heavy baggage, and even just like people struggling with suicide or addiction or you name it, like we're there to walk with people and to just encourage, like I talked about, this generation, because, if we don't be intentional, with the people around us, I think that can have an impact for better or worse, for the world. And so, we just want to provide a space for people to come, feel have a place to have belonging and purpose. Yeah.
And then, do you feed people?
We do,
That's
yeah.
Always, that's always part
Yeah,
of it.
food is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, food is good. Yeah, we have dinner, and that's been really sweet too. We're just so appreciative of people in the community willing to provide meals. Yeah, it's been awesome.
What about you sports-wise? What sports did you play in high school?
Yeah, so I did soccer in high school, and then 1 year of track.
And then they talked you into playing lacrosse last year at EOU.
Yeah, I actually, it's a funny thing, I've always wanted to play lacrosse. I have cousins that played on the East Coast and then in California. And I was like, I wish, LeGrand had lacrosse at the high school level. I would have loved to have played. But yeah, I didn't realize that later on down the road, my freshman year, I believe, is when they started the program. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then another year went by and I saw just another girl play that hadn't played before. And I was like, next year I'm gonna do it. And so I did it.
Yeah, well, how was it? Like, what did you think of it?
It was good. It was definitely a growing experience. I'm trying to be open-minded and be like, if I didn't grow up doing it, I can still learn, and definitely a challenge, but I'm very grateful I did it.
And you said earlier that you don't have to be an athlete to go to FCA. You continue, even though you're not playing anymore.
Absolutely,
You're
yeah.
going to continue to be a part of this FCA thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, do you know about the history of FCA at all? Like, can you give us like a background of where it comes from and kind of how it started?
So I believe it's like in the middle spot of the United States. There was a guy that just had it on his heart to use the platform of sports as a ministry and to do life with people in the sports realm. And so, yeah, just one man that got together with other people, and now it's international. It blew up. And
yeah, it's not just a high school thing. It's middle school, high school, all levels of college.
Absolutely.
For FCA, what was like your journey through it? What's been your biggest struggle? Just getting people there, or?
I would say, like, biggest struggle with.
Yeah, like running, like getting it started up. I mean, you've been there since the beginning at EOU.
Yeah, so it was challenging starting it up because we just didn't have a lot of opportunity to be on campus my freshman year, just with everything being shut down and remote. And so just being intentional to like continue to meet, and then things were opening up, and just like social media has been like a big opportunity to reach people, which is awesome. And then, just sharing with people in classes like, hey, we have FCA this Wednesday if you want to come out.
So give me like an idea of what a typical Wednesday looks like.
Yeah, so we meet at 7 and we eat dinner for the first 30 minutes, just want to connect with people and get to know them better. And there's lots of laughs and fun times with that. And then after that, we basically just do some announcements, tell people any upcoming events that we have, and after that we split up into some small groups and study a different book of the Bible. Right now we're in the book of James, and after that sometimes we play a game, or sometimes we spend time in worship, and people are welcome to stay as long as they want, or if they need to head out, we respect that too.
What kind of events do you have throughout the year?
So a big event in the fall that we have annually is Fields of Faith, and so it's an opportunity for students to gather on campus and be united and just praying for God's vision for the school year, and just being intentional to be there for one another and let people know that there's an opportunity to grow in their faith.
What do you think the biggest benefit of being a member of FCA is, especially as a college student.
Yeah, I'd say as a college student, like we're, as people, you know, like we're trying to find a space of purpose and we're trying to find a space of belonging, and to have an opportunity to connect and grow, not only like physically, emotionally, but like spiritually too. I think all of those things in health are intertwined, and yeah, so I think just having a space is really important for people that are interested in wanting to grow in their faith.
Especially a space where there's not judgment at that
Absolutely.
age. Like it's, I remember myself at that age, and it's almost like doing middle school over again. It's really awkward. You don't know where you belong yet, especially if you're a freshman. And even athletes, even if you're part of a team, you still have that weird, you know, like I'm a freshman. There's guys that are 4 years older than me, or girls, and just finding a place where you can kind of be yourself is really hard at the college level. FCA sounds like a place where that can kind of happen, right?
Absolutely.
So for sports-wise, for you, are you done completely?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Unless there's a curveball coming, I don't know.
Do you wish that you would have stayed with lacrosse, or no?
I do miss it for sure, but there's just a lot of things that I want to pursue this year, and I want to be able to give like all of my energy into the areas that I want and not be cut short in some spaces. But I do miss it, yeah.
What did you like about it? Like a brand new sport? Like we don't see it a lot here in Eastern Oregon, obviously.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part about it?
I love just connecting with the team. I'm definitely a person who really values the team aspect of things. Like competition and winning is fun too, but I really enjoyed the team aspect. And it was just awesome to see like where we were at the beginning of the season and how we grew, even though like we didn't have a crazy successful, you know, like statistically with our stats and everything. But to like see where we were and to have a coach, and then, you know, to see where it is now, having more consistency is good.
Yeah. So if I was a college student and I'm on the edge of, you know, like maybe coming to an FCA meeting, what would you tell me?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people who come that, you know, that weren't sure if they wanted to come or not, but they came and checked it out. So many I hear very often, they're like, I'm coming back every Wednesday, you know, like this is awesome. Just people are real there and we have fun. And I just encourage you, like the first step's the hardest, and you can come check it out. There's no pressure or obligation, but yeah, we just have a good time and everyone's welcome.
How do you guys raise funds? Like, do you have a fundraiser? Like, how do you fund it? How's it funded?
So since we're a club with Eastern Oregon University, there's a little bit of funding, club money, but otherwise we haven't done a lot of fundraising, yeah.
Is there plans in the future?
We're working towards things, yeah.
Like growth a little bit? Nice, good.
When I was in Seattle, I was in Seattle in the early 90s. We moved here in 97. And that's when the University of Washington was doing super well. And that was kind of my first experience with FCA. They had different events that we would go to, and there were a couple of the quarterbacks. One of them was playing for Wazoo, and he would come. He ended up going pro. You would know his name.
Ryan Leaf?
What's that?
Ryan Leaf?
No.
Oh, I was going to say he's one of the biggest busts in NFL history.
Yeah, no, and then also the QB for University of Wyoming at the time too, Mark something. Anyhow, they were at those events, and they would they would kind of use it. I mean, the particular events that I was at, they were high school events, and then high school kids would get an opportunity to kind of see these Christian athletes and mix with them, and they had some guys that had been in the pros and had retired and so on and so forth, and it was a really cool opportunity, a cool draw, you know. So that, I mean, what are your visions of, and it's in high school. I mean, the availability is to have it in junior high clear through college. Is that correct? Or high school through college?
Yeah, when I was in middle school, we didn't have one, but right now there is middle school through high school, and then it's growing in Union County. There's some other high schools that are getting. FCAs. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do a lot with Youth for Christ, but those different organizations, it doesn't matter who they are, they just have a different audience, you know.
Yeah.
And we're close friends with Clell and Matt Walcott, and what great people for you to have the opportunity to mix with.
Yeah.
Yeah, in high
Agreed.
school. Yeah. Maybe talk about how some of those people have been pivotal in your life and kind of encouraging you along.
Yeah, I would say I grew up knowing about the Lord, but it wasn't until middle school that it became more personal in my faith. And there's been people, like Clell and Matt and numerous others that have just been encouraging me in my walk with the Lord. And it's neat just seeing over time, just like the growth and really like the surrender that I've given to the Lord. I believe that, especially like in college, there's just been a lot of things that I've voiced and verbalized that the Lord has just brought freedom from. And the cool thing about it is, like, in my brokenness, those are the areas that I get to help other people in, which doesn't quite make sense sometimes. You don't think that your weaknesses, are the things that God's going to use. You think like, oh, I need to have it all together. I need to be strong and all this. But God, like, he glories in our weakness, and he's strong in our weakness. And so, I'm just really, really blessed by all the people that have poured into me, and I want to be that to others too.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, both Matt and Clell, though, coach boys sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you happen to mix with them?
Wolcott coaches girls too.
Oh, does he?
He's the track and field coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am good family friends with Clell, but I also helped with the high school wrestling team. I was one of their stat girls.
Yeah.
And so, I just got to spend a lot of time with Clell, and it was good.
No, it's funny because Amanda May and Michaela and Kelsey, Michaela and Kelsey are my daughters, and they were stat girls. That was kind of how they originally connected with Clell.
Yeah.
So that's he's been pivotal, and he was just awarded, what was that award? The national.
Yeah, National Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
NFHS.
Yeah, which is that is
Pretty
awesome.
big time.
So what do you have any big? I mean, you are clearly sensitive, and you're listening to God. I don't know. I just got this sense that maybe is there something bigger out there that he's calling you to? I mean, I'm sorry to put you on the spot,
that's okay.
but I don't know. I mean, sometimes, the things that you're talking about are things that come with some struggles, and it takes a while of some people to get to that position, but it's in that place where they can really be used.
That's true.
Is there something that maybe you feel God's calling you to that's beyond your education?
Yeah, I definitely have a heart for missions. Like, I went to Africa this last summer, and so I think there's opportunities like organizations like YWAM that I'm looking into. But I'm honestly open. Like, if the Lord wants me to go on staff with FCA in the future, I'm open to that. If he wants me to do missions, I'm just open to do whatever he would like. But I think I do have like a big heart and passion for like women, I think that's something that God, he's given me a voice for people who don't feel like they have a voice. And if I'm able to talk about things that I've struggled with in order for other people to find freedom, like, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah. So some of these things, though, that you're talking about, they involve being poor. I mean, just frankly, So how do you feel about that? Are you somebody, because, I don't know, some of the people that I've met that really jump into missions, somewhere along the line they've decided that earthly possessions they're less of a priority for them. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think, ultimately, like, our treasures are in heaven, and as much as, like, there's desires in me that do want things of the earth, and that's not necessarily bad,
No, right,
but,
absolutely.
Like, I've just come to a place in my life where I just love the Lord so much, and it's like, this life, it's short. Like, we're not promised tomorrow, and that's kind of cliche, but honestly, like, it is a very real reality. And knowing, like, the truth of the gospel, where we can have like a consistent hope, like a secure hope and salvation, knowing that like there's life after tomorrow, you know, and just the idea of wanting to like be in full surrender to him and wanting to go wherever he takes me, because the times where I've tried to, you know, plan out the things I want in my life, and some of them are good desires and some of them it's like, I'm so glad the Lord redirected me. I just want to be in a place where, I'm surrendered to the Lord and want to go where he wants me to go. But with that too, like earthly possessions and stuff, I think things, you know, like we desire something that's tangible, you know, something that's real, and putting our faith in the Lord like that, like if that's all that I have in this life, like that's enough, you know, for me. I think a big thing too is like family. Like I love my family and I want to be close with them, but if that's something the Lord's calling me to surrender, it's like ultimately I want to go, you know, and do.
Well,
do
and that
things
is
for
that
him.
that absolutely. I mean, when you do international missions, that I
There's
mean,
sacrifice.
you are, and that's a big deal. You know,
it is.
it was funny. My mom, you know, and bless her heart, whenever I would complain, she'd say, "Well, at least you're not in Africa," you know. And it's like, Mom, that's trite. Doesn't really help me in that situation. But her point is whatever I was dealing with, at least I wasn't dealing with something that's far worse. You know, I mean, then that's kind of, I'm still kind of trying to get my head around that space right now, because in Ecuador, or not in El Salvador. There just is, you know, there's just poverty. I mean, the city itself where we were at, beautiful hotel, and, you know, everything is beautiful, but just, you know, I mean, 50 miles away, it's just poverty, you know, and it was.
When you're in those spaces with those people,
Yeah.
like you can hear stories, but like when you're with them,
Yeah.
you recognize like there's something more there, you know, like there's a need,
Right.
and you want to help,
Yeah, and so it's. Anyhow, I'm not sure where I was going with that, except that it's that those are kind of some of the realities that you kind of adapt. So this is a tougher question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have. So, I mean, in the Christian church right now, and the evangelical church is going through some changes and shifts. I mean, it's complicated. Part of that is politics that's kind of being injected into that, and so. You know, how have you dealt with, because and then you mix college, university students, and they're exploring their minds, and they're kind of going in different directions. How are you able, how is FCA, you know where I'm going with this, how are you able to have people come in the door and find that mix together? I mean, how's that going? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think, like, I truly believe that the Word of God is truth, and there's a lot of ideologies and like even just political ideas and stuff that come in conflict with the Word of God, but ultimately, like, our heart is for people to know God. It's not like, oh, you need to, you know, stop doing this or stop this or that, you know. It's like Jesus calls us to repentance. Like, there is an opportunity, you know, to surrender and to turn away from things that keep us from God. Like, that's what sin is. It keeps us from knowing God. And in order for us to be righteous, we have to put our faith in God. It's not like trying to change all these things in our life and then, you know, we've reached righteousness. It's like we put our faith in Christ and we're made righteous through the blood of Jesus. But ultimately, it's like, there's a lot of things that can bring division. And if people want to have conversations about it, like, we're more than happy, you know, to share truth and love. But I think ultimately focusing on the gospel and focusing on, like, where is it that Jesus can encounter someone's heart, you know, I think that's more important than all the challenges, you know, that come with all these different challenges, I guess we could call them.
Good.
Yeah.
And people are showing up.
Absolutely,
so clearly they're finding some purpose. I mean, they're finding that is attractive to them, you know, which as you know, the traditional church has really struggled. I mean, it's really struggled to hang on to young kids, you know, and I mean, and there's just churches are largely ineffective with college kids unless they have a super hot worship and, you know, and I mean, it just, and they have, I mean, you should see the money that churches are spending on the type of gear that is in here. I mean, they make our equipment budget look minuscule, you know, but they're doing that all to reach a younger kids. And so for you guys to meet in a fairly simple church out in Island City and so many people to show up means that you're striking a chord somewhere. Yeah. So, well, awesome. Well, thanks you so much for taking the time.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything else you want us to know about before we quit?
I think that's all. I
Yeah,
just
maybe
encourage
give us some information. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wednesdays at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how would they reach out to you if they wanted to?
Yeah, so you can find us on EOU FCA on Instagram or LeGrand FCA. And yeah, come check out FCA if you guys are interested. I couldn't encourage people enough.
Yeah. All righty. Well, good stuff. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
You being here with us this morning, and what a great program, and it's great to get to know you, Josie.
Yeah, thank you. It's been awesome.
All righty, you want to get us out of here?
On this day and get out of here. What is today? February 1st. On this day in 1790, the U.S. Supreme Court convened for the very first time ever in New York City.
What year again?
1790. Like about a couple years before you were born. 1865 on this day, U.S. President Lincoln signed the 13th Amendment. What was the 13th Amendment, BC?
The abolishing of slavery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. You got that trivia right. 1884 on this day, the first volume of the Oxford Dictionary is published. 1893 on this day, Thomas Edison completes the first movie studio in West Orange, New Jersey. Yeah. 1958 on this day, the first U.S. satellite is launched, the Explorer 1.
58.
1958.
Wow.
1996 on this day, and I don't even know what this is. I just thought it sounded interesting. The Communications Decency Act is passed by the U.S. Congress. I don't know what that is.
What year?
1996. So it must be something about, you know, the internet or passing along information about people, I would imagine. 2019 on this day, the U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed the U.S. withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty because of Russia's violation of the agreement. So basically, that's Trump saying in 2019 that because Russia won't follow this agreement, we'll bomb, we'll nuclear.
Why should we?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I get it, but 2023 on this day, at the age of 45, Tom Brady, regarded as the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, announces his re-retirement after a 23-year career and a record 7 Super Bowl titles.
That's crazy.
#1 song in America on this day in 1994 from the Three Musketeers soundtrack, All for Love, with Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. The quote of the day comes from Oprah. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. One more time. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. That's it. That's all we got.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you again, Josie, for joining us from FCA.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
It was great.
Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, who do we got?
Didn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Next Tuesday, we have the executive director of the warming station. I believe her name is Mandy Mayhem.
Okay.
Maddie Mayhem. And she's going to come on and answer questions. I have some questions about.
Yeah.
I mean, and I kind of hit some of those questions with her on the phone, and we'll get you guys those answers on Tuesday.
Yeah, she'll give us an update on how they're doing and where they're doing it. So
Pretty excited about that.
yeah, and then on Thursday, we'll kind of have a little bit of a review of the Rotary trip that I had in El Salvador. So thank you very much for being with us today, Josie.
you.
Really appreciate it.
We'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, thank you.